Hello YouTube, it's your boy Tisoy. Hope you guys are doing better than I am. Are you struggling to find the best early game build in Lords of the Fallen? Look no further. In this guide we'll show you the ultimate setup to dominate the early stages of the game. Lords of the Fallen, for those of you who don't know, is a Souls-like game. Essentially you'll be getting one or two shot by most enemies, may that be bosses or just regular grunts. You can either parry or dodge by dodging just walking or dodging by actually pushing the dodge button. Quite difficult for those of you who are new to the series, that's for sure. Along with dodging and parrying though, you're going to need to do some damage. With some testings and making a few accounts, I have found out that this is definitely the most OP build early game. And it will look something like this. As you can see, not only does it do a lot of damage, but it also looks uber drippy. You pretty much got two lightsabers or like energy swords from Halo or whatever you want to see it as, but they're pretty sick. When you're using this build, you also have a ton of AoE, so you can clear waves along with doing tons of damage to singular units. Essentially how the build works is that it's going to be scaling off of Radiance. The reason why it scales off Radiance is because you're going to be proccing the Smite status effect. Whenever you fully proc Smite on an enemy, you'll see a lightning hit them. It kind of flashes red and yellow, as you can see here. So let's get started. Go to the menu. Click on new, and you're gonna pick the Orion Preacher because it has the highest radiance stats, which the two weapons we will be trying to get has a pretty high requirement of radiance, one being 25 and the other being 32. All right, and go ahead and customize your character however you see fit. Give me a second here. And here's the extraordinary Kale, the perfectly normal, average looking humanoid type being. First thing I did to make the game easier is took off my arms and legs armor so I can get into the light category. Being in the light category, it makes it easier to dodge things because you'll get more iframes. Iframes mean invincibility frames. The lighter you are, the more iframes you'll get. You'll pretty much be able to dodge further and longer, if that makes sense. The lighter you are, the better it will be for you if you're a dodger. If you're getting hit a lot, then I would just put more armor on. But as you can see here, you max out within that same quadrant, you'll still be in the light category. This gives me the maximum amount of armor I can get, along with still being able to have the most iframes. You'll see these Vestiges scattered about. You can rest here, so reset all your stats and your potions, but you'll also reset the normal enemies. You can fast travel to other Vestiges. You can upgrade your character's stats, call in some random people to maybe help you with some difficult bosses, or just play with some friends. For the first levels, all the way up to about level 33, you're going to want to level up your Radiance and Strength. Strength to at least 20 and Radiance to at least 33, so you can wield one of the weapons that you'll be getting later on. Although your starting weapon is perfectly capable of ending the first boss, I just want to showcase the spell you also start off with when you pick the Orion Preacher. It's actually really good and it does a decent amount of damage. Definitely a good option if you need some range. Next, you're going to want to progress and beat Pieta, then make your way to Skyrest Bridge. Skyrest Bridge is essentially the main hub of the game. A lot of traders and do a plethora of things. Once you're here, you're going to want to talk to Exactor Dunmire and then buy Radiant Weapon. Raise your weapon and imbue it with Radiance. When a faithful combatant wreaths their weapon in the divine light of Aureus, they become more assured than ever that the violence they are about to inflict is righteous. Long story short, whatever weapons you're wielding, it gives it the ability to inflict smite so it can proc. You can use this spell dual wielding so you can proc it even faster. The best way to use this build before getting those weapons is to use the starting weapon and any dagger that you can wield. How this game works, whenever you're dual wielding, whatever's in your main hand, it'll act like you have two of those, if that makes sense. So right here, I have a dagger in my main hand and a hammer in my offhand. So it acts like I have two daggers essentially, and I'm just going to be swinging really fast. If I would flip this, I'd probably do a little bit more damage and swing a lot slower. I highly suggest you would just put the dagger in your main hand because you're going to want to proc smite as soon as possible. So the faster you're swinging, the better off you're going to be. This actually will carry you all the way to where you need to get the build. The two weapons we're going to need is going to be the Bloody Gory, which has 300 bleed and scales off of strength and radiance. The second weapon is going to be Pieta's sword, which scales solely off of radiance but has 90 smite. Both of these weapons are fairly easy to get even in the early game. You're just locked behind different kinds of currencies. One of those currencies is going to be the Umbral Scouring, which you're going to need 40 of them to get Pieta's sword. Once you explore a little bit through Pilgrim's Perch, you'll find the Bowl of Revelation and some Umbral Scouring. Once you have the Bowl of Revelation, you can either use Vigor or whatever type of currencies to buy Umbral Scouring, or just explore more to get the 40 naturally. I'll be honest, I think exploring is definitely the best option, considering that you probably don't even have the stats to wield both weapons. It's nice to just pretty much try to get the Vigor so you can level up your stats. I decided to just naturally explore and save my Vigor so I can buy the Pilgrim's Perch key, and by that point I already had enough Umbral Scouring to get Pieta's sword. To get Pieta's sword, you're gonna need to talk to Molhu in Skyrus Bridge. You can only see Molhu when you're in the Umbral, so make sure to do that. Hand over the Bowl of Revelations if you have not, and buy Pieta's sword, 40 Umbral Scouring. After getting Pieta's sword, I then used the Pilgrim's Perch key to go get the Bloody Gory. Warning, this is a later game area, so all of the enemies are going to be pretty strong compared to you if you didn't grind like I didn't. But you can simply just run past all of them and then go pick up the sword. If you're really speedrunning to get to the build, you can probably hit it pretty quickly. I think I did it in about 4 hours, I'm not going to lie. I was around level 40, I think, when I ended up finishing it up. This is something what you'll be looking like. Unfortunately, the Bloody Gory is 35 weight. I don't know what the weight measurements is in. But yeah, and it kicks you up like a ton. Like I said in the beginning of the video, I'm trying to max out the medium slots just so I can get as much armor as possible but still stay within the medium. After this, if you just want to continue on and take this all the way to endgame, I would suggest leveling up Vitality and Endurance a little bit. Me personally, I'm going to be leveling up a ton of endurance just so I can try to get back to light while wearing full gear, considering that the amount of drip I have is immaculate. But also you can just level up Vitality and Radiance, which is probably the smarter option, just some health and more damage on your Radiance. You have an option to also get 2 Pieta swords if you want, just because you can continue using the remembrances. So if you end up getting 80 scouring and you just want to dual wield the swords, like that's cool too. As you can see, these swords actually stagger quite a bit, even though I'm only light attacking. In this game, heavy attacks aren't that big of a deal unless you charge it up. So it's kind of better to just light attack unless you're going for staggers. But realistically, you're just gonna light attack because you're trying to block some. Anyway, I hope you folks enjoy. Thank you so much for stopping by. Let me know if you use this build and beat the game. If you want to see all the clips here live, make sure to check out my Twitch and Kick. I do stream on both, typically on Twitch though. Same app for both of them, which will be iTiSOYi. If you made it to this point in the video, make sure to like, subscribe, and comment. It really helps out the channel. Really helps me out. I can make more content like this. If you want any other type of content, any type of other build, let me know. Comment down below. And YouTube, I hope you folks are having a better day than I am.